right, everybody. I would love nothing more than to listen to that whole song. But if it's okay with you, we got some stuff to do here. And I see so many friends and clients and people. Greg, what's happening? Haven't seen you in a while. So glad to have you here. My man, the fire master, Kevin Axtell. What's up, brother? Nice to see you. Jason Kirby, what's going on? Karen, nice to see you, Karen. Antonia, wow, so many amazing people here. Michelle Wade, what's happening? So before we get started, why don't you just type one word check-in, like what's the coolest thing happening in your life tonight, besides hanging out with me and my beautiful wife and Aaron and Ken, the whole Food Dog team. What else is amazing? And you will need, or you should have, pen and paper, okay? Pen and paper would be really helpful. Dave Monk, what's happened? I'm sure we're gonna have more people join us. My man, Tim DeHart, Ashley, what's going on? And Shane, we got people from all over. Why don't you type in real quick, where are you logging in from right now? Like, where are you logging in from? Japan, Sydney, California, Bali. All right. We got people from all over. How cool is this? So just to give you a little insight before I jump in and do some sharing and we go through, when we did a decision, my wife and I and Aaron and the whole team was talking, we were talking about like, what would be so useful for not only the world, but for people today, where they're at. And I don't know, I'm going to take a little poll real quick, little poll. Who did the human engineering? Either you were live or you did watch the replay. So if you did, just say boom or me. And if you didn't, just say not yet. All right, a lot of booms in here. Okay, good. Did it live? Not yet. Okay, here's the nice thing. It doesn't matter if you did it, but through the training, maybe in the next couple of days, you're going to want to go back and do it because they work together. Human engineering was about evaluation. I'm going to talk about that a little bit through this. And superhuman is what I've learned, all the different things I've learned on how to create an identity to take you to exactly where you want to go. And I know just for tonight's sake, if we could just put aside, like some people say, like my dad would say, I'm just good the way I am. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But that sounds like not willing to grow, not willing to expand. And my belief, and you don't have to love my beliefs, and we're not going to debate my beliefs, take what you like from it. A lot of people, and you answer for me, if you're not growing, you're what? And type it in the chat bar. If you're not growing, you're what? All right, people say dying. And I believe that that's partially true, except I think this thing has moved faster because of the situation that we're in. I believe like if you're not personally growing, and this is only my belief, so take what you want, you're already dead. You just didn't realize it. Now, I don't know what aspect you're dead in. Some people go, my relationship's dead. Some people go, my health is dead. Some people go, my belief is dead. And maybe they don't use the word dead, but they're feeling it and they might be thinking it before they go to sleep at night. You know those, does anybody have really serious conversations right before bed? Raise your hand. Like, and then you're like, just like three of us, right? Just like three of us before bed. What's up, Dwayne? Dwayne, I had so much fun talking to your group this morning. So thanks for having me. And you know, those talks you happen, it's right before bed. It's like, you know, am I where I want to be? Did I think I would be further? So I'm going to jump into, you're going to take notes. We're going to have a blast together. And if it's good with you, like, let's talk with each other through this training. And because I'm a big believer of talk with you and not at you. So the chat bar, we'll just keep that bad boy going all night long. So here's what we have. Superhuman. It's not about who you are. It's about who you can become. Now, write this down real quick, and I'm sure I'll have some of my team typing some things in. If you want to become something different, it's going to be by design. By design. And if you just want to become whatever you become, it's by default. So growth is normally by design, and default is just what you get for doing nothing strategically, nothing thought out. Now, wait a minute. You could have what we call forced design. Do you know what forced design is? That's all of a sudden you get in an accident, you lost a leg, forced design. You have made a new decision that either you're going to live a new life, empower people, or you're going to suffer and just spend the rest of your life saying, why me? Why did I lose a leg? So sometimes there's forced design. I'm just going to tell you throughout tonight, if we could look at it just by designing, I promise you whatever you want, and I mean whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me what you want because I'm not here to judge you. If you want a lot more money in your bank account, no problem. This is going to help tonight. You want to become debt-free? My wife and I and Aaron, we had an amazing call today with somebody who was running kinds of wealth strategies with us. And I don't say, please, tonight, anybody, and type in the chat bar, like, how long do you know me? Like, how long have you been in my world? Just take a rough guess and type in the chat bar. Let's see what happens here. 7+ years, 1 week. Okay, 1 year, 1 month, 4 months. Dwayne said, 4 years. I thought he said 4 months. I was like, what? 3 years, 1. Okay. So I want, no matter if you're in my world for a month, a couple months, or many, many years, whatever I say, please understand, it's for sharing. It's not for bragging. It's not for ego. But when we redefined our identity, my wife and myself, then what happened was we've been debt-free since we're 28 years old. Now I'm level 51. What level are you? If you want to say what level you are, type it in the chat bar. I'm level 51 and level 35. Okay, amazing levels here, amazing levels. And what I learned was, even back then at level 28, that your identity would create your reality. You might want to write that down. Your identity will create your reality. Now let's get started. I do have to read some disclaimers just to be safe. The first one is, by watching this training, you agree to the following. Professional advice disclaimer. Food Dog Group does not provide any legal, financial, medical, or professional advice, and attendees should consult their own lawyer, accountant, doctor, and/or financial professional for relevant advice. Nothing contained in this training program should be construed as professional, legal, accounting, medical, therapeutic, or financial advice. In addition, no representation whatsoever is made regarding the results to be achieved by participating in the program or through the use of the program materials or confidential information. If you get that, say, I get it. Mike, you're not here to tell me what to do. But I do have to read the next disclaimer real quick for you. It's called the massive results disclaimer. Food Dog Group only provides insight. You apply it. Therefore, Food Dog Group is not responsible for your massive success and growth in all areas of life, including but not limited to a better relationship with your spouse and children or partner, more wealth, a more successful career, greater impact to serve others in the community and the world, a significant legacy, improved mental and physical health and wellness, a constant quest for knowledge, wisdom, and improvement, and a greater overall sense of fulfillment in all aspects of your life. Food Dog Group is not responsible if you start getting up earlier, enjoy a more active and enriching day, live more productivity, smile a lot more, and feel amazing, all while making better choices. Food Dog Group is not responsible for turning you into a superhuman who squeezes the most rewarding experiences out of every moment while living your best life ever. Okay, you have been warned that if your life gets amazing, do not come back and yell at us. Okay, all right, good. Let's jump in. Let's set a few agreements. I hope you feel that these agreements are fair and we could honor them together. Number one agreement, let's do our cameras on, because if I did this whole training while you looked at nothing, it just wouldn't be the same. So I promise, you see me, I'll see you. It's going to be a great time. Next thing, no recording. We got you covered. We're recording it with you. We'll give you the recording. All right. Let's respect each other. That means we're not going to judge. We're just going to, I like you, you like me, and we're all going to meet each other. Let's support each other. So it's like, hey, high five, everybody. Judgment-free zone. So it doesn't matter to me if you have blue hair, purple hair, mohawk, no hair, tattooed face, like you are perfect. You're welcome to be here exactly the way you are. There will be no politics. So whatever you choose, the president, belief, whatever, just keep that out of here. Go have your debate somewhere else. No self-promotion. So please, if you want to send me something to consider, private message me, but I'm just not on this training. We don't want anybody pushing a berry juice or something like that. I'm sure it's a great product. Keep it for another platform. Let's play full out. The more you participate in the chat bar, the more you're going to get out of the training. Okay. So as you hear things, boom, insights are created. Type it in the chat bar. Let's make sure we take action, and let's be willing to transform and grow. If you agree on this agreement, can you type in boom in the chat bar, please? A big old boom. If you don't agree with them, just sit there and watch us all have a really good time, I guess. Okay. We're going to go for 90 minutes strong. All right. Can you commit? Type in committed if you could go for 90 minutes strong. And sometimes my team says, they'll just tell you he's not going to end till he's done. So if it's okay with you, when I'm done, we end. But I don't turn into a pumpkin exactly 90 minutes. So if you have to go a little longer, like, let's do it. Some of you it's morning, some of you it's night. I promise, if you want to change your life, time does not matter right now. Time does not matter. So let's map out a quick agenda here. First, I'll make sure some of you are new in my world. Some of you might be brandy new. So I'll make sure you know who I am. We'll do a quick little snapshot review. What the heck was human engineering? So you know you got to go back and do it, or you might want to replay that again. We're going to do a little identity reflection. So I'm going to ask you, like, can we just be transparent with each other tonight? Like, drop the act. And if you're willing, just say drop it. Type in drop it in the chat bar. Like, because when you show up and I'm not impressed with you, you should not be impressed with me, like, we're just here to serve each other and grow, then you know what? Let's just be ourselves. Let's just be ourselves. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I can predict the future. Okay. And you can tell me if you think that's correct or not. We'll do a little, the pyramid of the mind. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to do higher level kind of thinking things that you might not normally hear. If that's cool, can you type in cool in the chat bar? Like, I'm not going to feed you baby food, but I'm also not going to feed you the highest level scientist either. Okay. I'm going to make sure we could all process this together. We're going to look at the wheel of life, talk a little bit about what it is, what it means to you. We'll do a superhuman assessment, and then we will talk about how to change the channel. Is this a good agenda? Type in like, that's good, or that's great, or how you feeling? And it's going to be fast and furious. So you can have the recording and slow me down if you want. I just don't want to slow myself down. If that's okay with you, I'd rather not slow myself down. So this picture is just here because it's like, I think I look cool in there and very intense. I just want you to feel intensity. They call me Hanchi. So Hanchi is what they call above a sensei. A sensei is translation, one who went before, like martial arts. And Hanchi is one who helps many people to a level of sensei. And for those of you that don't know, like, martial arts has been my life. I know we got some martial arts on here. It's been my life for 36 years. I'm an 8th degree. I've started my own system probably 15 years ago now, and it's still the #1 focus in my world today. And you're probably here because you're like, well, if this guy who is tattooed and just looks like a I don't know if I look like a normal guy. Maybe I'm not a normal guy, but he looks pretty normal. And he could do this. He could build a $32 million service company in under 10 years, 200 employees, 165 trucks, and then he could sell it. I sold it 4 years ago. Like, maybe you want to do that. And like, why was he able to do that? Not. And it's not, I know a lot of you, my wife said, no, not normal. A lot of you are probably like, well, you know, maybe add this and that. No. It was identity that made it happen. The whole subject we're talking about, I promise you that if you apply it, you step into it and you embrace it, how life will be 3 months, 6 months, a year from now will be amazing. Then I said, well, look, the bottom picture is I've grown the top training and implementation organization in the world. As far as I know, there's no other one that does 42 different industries. We're in 6 different countries, and a lot of my fellow warriors are on here. And we helped blue collar, mostly business owners, take their business from some of them from millions to 5 millions to 10 millions to 20 millions and more. And I think we've helped create, we're pushing up almost creating in over 7 years, almost pushing up against $1 billion of creation from all the companies. And I just partnered with a huge PE firm last year and did another huge deal there with CEO Warrior. And I don't say that to brag to you. I say it because I'm going to keep reinforcing the steps of what did I do? And please don't ever think that this journey I'm taking you on like, oh, he never made a mistake. I made lots of mistakes. I did lots of things. This guy here, okay, that guy there, that was an electrician with an afro, with a camo jacket, learned a lot of things never to do. And this guy with this beautiful woman here, we learned a lot of things not to do and a lot of things to do together. And then this is my amazing family right there. But I will tell you, to go from this guy here to this guy who now gets paid $25,000 an hour to speak to people about what he knows, has been a life of embracing different identities, a life on embracing change, a life on embracing things that happened that I wasn't thrilled with, and also creating a lot of things. And this is also what it's created now, all these years later. And when we built this SuperHuman, I went back in time and looked at all the pieces that got me to this point. This is, you may know or may not know, this is the name of our company, Food Dog Group. And here's the whole amazing team up here. And how many of you, if anybody here did Seekers of Power training, can you type in power in the chat bar? We did one training called Seekers of Power. And okay, a whole lot of you. And if you did the One Life training on how to, these are 5-week trainings, 2 nights a week for 5 weeks, total immersion. Type in best life ever if you did the One Life training. And then we did one was 5 weeks, which was unlocking the wealth code. That was how to, everything I learned about wealth. 5 weeks, 2 nights a week, amazing. And for those of you that might be interested, we have some of those coming up again pretty soon. We'll let you know about it. And then we have one called Change the Channel that's coming up. I'll talk about that later. And then we have this, the Freedom Tribe. The Freedom Tribe is a bunch of people in the tribe that are working, pushing, driving, creating. And if you're in the Freedom Tribe, type in freedom in the chat bar, please. And they're working because they know that they want to, creating the best life ever, the wealthiest life ever, the most passionate life ever is no longer an option. It's a demand. It's a demand to create that. All right. And I want to make sure I get, because I know that a lot of you, some of you will be here, some will stay the whole time, some won't, but I want to give you free direction right now. So we'll type it in, and I hope you'll do this before you go to bed tonight. Go to the website, which is fooddoggroup.com. And when you're there, I want you to do this. One, there's a tab here. Join the free Facebook group if you're not in it. Okay? Join the group because we're posting stuff all the time. The next thing is there's a newsletter. Join it. We're not sending you garbage. We're sending you life thinking, life provoking, life changing information. Make sure you friend all of us on Facebook, because we're all posting. My whole team of us is posting stuff. And the last one, if you're not on Telegram, jump on Telegram, just send me a big old boom, and then we could communicate back and forth that way. And we have all of these trainings on the right-hand side. And if you attended any of these, can you type in the chat bar, like the Money Cure training? I'm just going to tell you, it's an enhancement. Every one of you should do the Money Cure training. These are all free, everybody. This is all 100% free, life-changing value. And if you do me a favor, get it to people that it can serve. That's what we want. All right. But now it's time to dig into content here and start getting busy on building some stuff here. So let's build the baseline. First, on the last training, we did human engineering. And during human engineering, doesn't matter if you attended or not, we had to do an assessment. We had to know exactly where we are in areas of our life. It's interesting. You have a speedometer in your car, you have a thermometer to take your temperature, you have a bank account to see if you have money or no money. But most people don't have an assessment to ask themselves, like, where am I at in life? Now people complain a lot. Holy mackerel, do they bitch and whine, and oh my goodness today, right? Everybody's got a problem about something. When you take the assessment, you start to say to yourself, holy crap, maybe I'm the problem. Have any of you ever felt that? Type in like, that might be me, or like it might be you. Like you might be the problem. You just haven't faced it to improve it. The second part is, after the assessment, we needed a fair amount of knowledge. Like, what do we do now? How do we move forward now? And then the third part was about growth. Oh, now I know where I stand. Now I can grow. Well, the next logical step we're going to start to work through is identity. Like, how do we build it? How do we know? Thank you, Alan, for your honesty. Nancy, thank you for your honesty. How do I now build an identity? How do I take action? How do we track this thing? And like, what support do I need along the way? And then this happens again, right? It happens again. Now, this is creating a life by design. And the good news is, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter where you're at in the cycle of things. You can improve. You can improve. So let's take a quick glance. And if you didn't do the training, there's a whole assessment that you could print out and do. I'm not going to go through all the brackets. I'm just going to point out some of the big ones. We did an assessment on happiness. And we did an assessment on money. And normally some people go, oh yeah, money. Some people go, oh yeah, money, right? It depends on exactly where you're at in the cycle of things. And then we did something on your career. Like, I still find it amusing that people would actually do something they really don't like. And where can we take? Yeah, we'll make sure we put the link to that training, Kim. We'll tag in it. Some people do what they don't like. Some people are in a career they don't love. But here's the thing. If you could just embrace one concept, love it till you change it. Because to stay in it and just talk about it is going to be torture for yourself. And I'm sure some people could relate to that, right? And then the other part of the assessment was around people and around confidence. Now you tell me, do you think confidence is at a world high right now? Like, the world is so confident, people are confident, relationships are confident, or would you say pretty low? Where does it fall for your perception? There's no right or wrong answer. Type in the chat bar. It's called bitch. Where do you think you're confident? Okay. Yeah, it's probably pretty low right now. That's what I noticed, because if confidence was really high for the globe today, we would all be aligned and moving together to change things quickly and supporting each other. And then there was health and there was growth and development. Now, I will tell you that if you just took this assessment, you did it once per month or once per quarter, whatever felt right for you, and you then just mapped out an action item to improve it, the game would change for you. And here, check this out. So for all of you, Paul, Karen, look, there was unfinished business, and here's the scoring system. The only thing you have to make sure of is this. You have to be honest with yourself. You know, you have to be honest. Sometimes people go, oh, I think I'm a 6.5. No, you're a 6. But you're an achieving 6 because you don't want to act like you're a 6. So you're like, I'm 6.5. No, you're a 6, right? It's just like when people say things are going good, I always ask them this. Well, if things are going good, what's going really poor? Because good is really a translation slightly above poor. You're just trying to camouflage because you don't want someone to feel bad for you and they, oh man, things are really bad for that person. If this is making sense, can you type in make sense in the chat bar for me? Make sense? Thank you. All right, Brendan, what's happening? Natasha, what's up? Okay, time. We're going to do a little work right now, and you're going to do work. All right. And we're going to write quick because you know what? This training that we're doing tonight could probably be a half day, if not a full day, maybe even multiple days. What I would rather do here, Michelle, is this. I'd rather give it to you. Let's work through it. And then you could go back and go in on a deeper level. Okay. At a deeper level. And for those of you who are just like me, you're just super transparent. You don't care what anybody thinks. Well, you'll type your answers in the chat bar. And those of you that are a little more private, that's okay. Keep your answers to yourself. But let's go through it one by one and work on it together. The first one is who were you in the past? Some people go, well, Mike, how far in the past? I don't know. Who were you in the past? You know, past could be last week, last month, 20 months ago, last year. What's the past definition to you? And who were you? Were you confused? Were you frustrated? Did you get like dragged through the mud? Like, who were you? Were you a seeker? Long-haired hippie freak. Okay. Confident on the outside, insecure on the inside. Thank you for your honesty, everybody. Uncertain, fearful, but wanting more. Hustling out of flow. Yeah. Scared, shy, timid little girl, afraid of everything. Okay. Now, without worrying about what anybody else is going to think here, and what a great group. Thank you, everybody. This is how you grow. Now, I want to ask you, who are you now? Not who you want other people to think you are. Who are you right now today? Are you frustrated, concerned, scared, deal with anxiety, pressure, unsure? Where are you today? Where do you sit right now? And the reason why I stress here, like, don't say what you think other people want to hear. This is, I just posted something on Facebook. I normally don't get engaged in these type of things, but I said to somebody, it was actually my sister. I said, I'm pretty sure how you think may not be correct, but I will just tell you this. I rather know how somebody's really feeling than them telling me something that's not true. I'd rather the truth. So I'd rather you share your truth here, because when you're transparent, like, you know what, I'm concerned, or I'm feeling pretty good, but not 100% confident. I mean, anybody that feels both feet are on solid ground and it ain't going to move at all, I don't know, might be a little bit of a delusion. And I'm not telling you to be scared, and I'm not telling you to be ultra brave. I'm just telling you to reflect. That's all this is a reflection to get your brain thinking as we go through the process. Now, Who did you want to become? Maybe when you were young, like, who did you want to become? It's interesting. I always wanted to be a doctor when I was a kid. Most people don't know that. I thought I was going to be a doctor. Now, the cards didn't quite play out for me to go to school and college to be a doctor. I think I became a different type of doctor. I feel like I became a healer just in a different way, right? But it's interesting when you reflect back, like, who did you want to become and where you're at? And is there something unknown there, right? Like, is there something you could, like, if I go back in time, and Kevin Axtell probably could even relate to this because he's been in my world a long time. We've been friends. Like, if you go back many, many years ago, I entered the world where I was shifting lives. My wife and I would have 50 people at our house, 75 people at our house. We'd be doing all kinds of firewalking and things. And then there became a point I was doing it, but we weren't doing it as much. I was helping my own business, growing a business. Then I become focused on growing business owners. And then it's interesting how sometimes when you reflect on who you want to become, I circled right back to where I call, at least for myself, my soul's purpose was maybe that doctor of helping people. That's why you're here. Now, here's a good one for you. Who are your parents? Now, wait, if your parents aren't on here, no one's going to call them and go, your daughter's pretty pissed at you, right? But who are your parents? Are they people that are just okay? Are they just complainers? Are they people that are settling? Are they poverty mindset? Are they happy but confused? Are they aging and confused? Are they aging and acting like they're kids again? Like, where are they? Loving, happy, worry warts, right? I'm sure a lot can relate to that. Aaron says yes to all those things. Faith says they're gone. They're not here no more. But like, and then maybe you want to say, like, who were they? Who were they? This is a reflection because your identity is probably part reflection of your parents, right? Let's go to the next one. Who are your friends? Who are your friends? Trusting, caring, motivating, exciting, or not cool, not supportive, judgmental, telling me I should wear a mask, I shouldn't, I should get a shot, I shouldn't, I should eat this, I shouldn't. They're nagging. Like, this is also, remember, these things, all of these things play a part in your identity. How about number 6? And you guys are doing amazing. You're doing so, hey, Jim, you're doing such quick work here. This is great. How have your experiences shaped who you are? Now, experiences are interesting. One of my experiences was a $4 million lawsuit many, many years ago, settled at $1 million, thought it was going to put me out of business. Well, how have your experience shaped you? For me, that experience motivated me because it was either survival or die. I've been on my own very, very young. How did that experience shape me? Well, part of it, it created a poverty mindset where I was afraid to run out of money because I was on my own and never knew when the next money would come. Part of it created momentum in me, endurance in me, focus, discipline. So how have your experiences shaped who you are? Type in one thing, like, you know, this is learn to jump around obstacles. Yeah. Wise. What else here? It has driven me to never accept failure. Resilience. What about this one? You guys are doing so good. What was by choice? What was by choice? Think about that. Like, I had a choice to get married or not get married. I had a choice to have children or not have children. Like, what was by choice? Your choice. In a world today, it seems like people think they have choice, but they might be being told what to do. Maybe their partner's telling them what to do. Maybe society's telling them what to do. Maybe the government's telling them what to do. Maybe their boss is telling them what to do. What was by choice for you? Not enough by choice. Whatever it is, I own it now. Okay, it's like, hey, this is what happened. I own it. So that was by choice. Independence. Go out on my own. All right, you ready for a tricky one here? Maybe not so tricky. What was by force? What was by force? Taxes? By force. I know we got people from all over the world, but like taxes are 100%. Jim Hodges, survival by force. Yeah, I had that myself when I was young. I just felt like survival was by force. My parents were divorced. I lived through that. That was by force. I didn't choose it. I was shoved into it. In the end, that helped create things in me. That was great, right? What else was by force by you? Death. Death was by force. You lost somebody you love. Like you didn't have a choice. It was by force. Are you starting to see how all of these things play a part in who you are today? My divorce, sickness. Okay. What was done and achieved without thinking? Like it just happened for you. It just happened for you. Did you get business? Did you win money? Like you achieved without even thinking. It's like it was just shoved right in my lap. It was just given to me. Finding the perfect job is like, boom, right there. Not by force, but not relaxing. I could ride a wave rather than letting it tumble me to the beach. Yeah, awesome. Martial arts, right? Without thinking, right? What was done and achieved without thinking. See, my martial arts, Karen, came out of force. I was beat up by 5 gang members when I was done. That was the force. The gift was I made a commitment that that would never happen in my lifetime again. All right. Now, tell me what your big takeaway is from this so far. Like, what's an awakening that you're happening? And then we're going to talk a little bit about how I feel we can predict the future. So tell me what has been most helpful. I'll take a drink while you're doing that. What part is resonating with you, making you think? Most people never think through these questions, right? Anthony said, meeting you. Thank you. So many factors create our identity. Yeah, right? Reflecting on choice. Choice creates momentum or kills it. I have a lot more choice than force. Yeah, these are all great awakenings that you're happening. It's like, never asked that question before. And that question is starting to tell me a little story, right? So let's predict the future. We have what's called past programming. Past programming, right? This is everything that has happened in your past was past programming. It helped create who you are today, how you think about things, how you take action, where you go. It's past programming, right? In every single experience, every touch, every feel, every smell, every visual, every emotion is filed in a file inside your body, inside your subconscious mind, and that's called past programming. But there's another part that creates your reality is, guess what? It's this. It's current programming. So wait a minute, Mike, we have past program, everything that's happened literally from microseconds ago to current programming. Well, what's current programming? Well, I would think right now you're going through a sense of current programming. Like you're making a conscious decision in this moment to reflect on who you are. And then you're going to make a conscious decision by time we're done of who you want to be and how you're going to get there. So we have past programming, but we have the ability plus current programming And guess what? Whatever one chooses to win is going to create this, your predicted reality. Your predicted reality. That's what it's going to create. Now, if your past programming is, since we're dealing with this experience, I've been sick, I suffered sickness, and my current programming is I choose to listen to the news a lot. You will be sick again. You will get sicker. My current predicted reality will be what? I'm going to live in a world of fear and probably creating a form of sickness. You guys probably heard this before. I said this before, but I do believe how this breaks out, right? Dis-ease, right? Disease. Now, this may not play out all the time for everyone, but I do believe this dis part is the part of unsurety, the part of questioning, the part of turmoil. I mean, it has been scientifically proven that your mind state creates things inside your body. Did you guys ever hear the test, the hypnotic test with an ice cube? If you did, put yes. If you didn't, put a question mark, and I'll share it real quick. Okay. So Kim, here's what they do. This hypnotist takes somebody and has them close their eyes and says, I am now going to take a very hot coal, hot thing, and I am going to put it on your arm. And it's going to be hot. It's going to burn. And you just tell me when it's burning too much. They put it on. The person goes, it's burning, it's burning, it's burning. Blisters are coming. Blisters are bubbling up on the skin. It says, okay, in a minute, I'm going to have you open your eyes and look. It's an ice cube. It's an ice cube. The physical mind related to the experience in such an impactful way, it created blisters. Well, what do you think this past programming, if we have past that was difficult, confused, hard, and we have current that's confusing, we got a predicted reality. We're going to have a confused, an unsure, an unresults-driven life. If this makes sense, can you type in make sense for me? Does this make sense? I'm trying to break it down as simplistic as I can. You could go to all kinds of classes. You could learn all the guru stuff. You could study all about hypnosis, the brain and conscious mind and NLP to just get to this part. This is as simple as it could be. Past programming, new current programming, predicted reality. Okay, so what do we do with this? Here's what we do with this. Let's understand how it falls into the pyramid of the mind. First, we have the forced programming. Now, when we use the word forced programming, we're not talking someone locked you in a chair and shined a light in your face and dropped water on your head. We're not talking about that. We're talking about really any programming that was without you deciding, which is most of your beginning life. If your parents told you when you were born a bird was a dog, you would, until someone else gave you a new thinking, look in the air and go dog, dog. It's forced programming, right? It's the point of when you don't know any different and you accept what something or someone is telling you. That's forced programming. Then we have this. We have the unconscious, okay, the unconscious programmed choice. So I have forced programming and I have this unconscious, meaning not the conscious, program choice. You know what that means? Everything you're doing now is based off of that past process. I know it seems a little deep, but if you don't understand this, it's very hard to shift your identity. So I have this unconscious program choice. It's like, wait, whatever you're doing is based off of your past experiences and your past decisions. Now you have the next one, which is your conscious choice, right? And your conscious choice is the ability to tap into the past, what's happening, that happens because that's your unconscious computer, and make a decision today. Let me give you an example. I bet one of you, at least one of you, probably was slapped a lot as a kid, but then made a conscious choice to never slap your children. If that's a possibility, type in possibility. If you slap your children, no judgment, just no need to tell me you slap your children. Okay, Ashley says possibility. Like a lot of people were hit by a bell, hit by a switch, slapped, right? And they decided their unconscious program choice was when their kid was little was kid's bad. My dad would have smacked me. Conscious choice. That's not how I want to behave with my children. Okay. That's not how I want to behave with my children by force. But type in this word if this is pretty true for most of us here, maybe a lot of us, because I remember the levels. For a lot of us, the generational decision was correction by force. Type in yes. Is that yes? Is that yes? Right? It was change and conditioning, reprogramming by force, violent force sometimes for some people. Then we have this last part, and this is what we call the superconscious programming. Well, what is this kind of nirvana of superconscious programming? This is the ability to feel things at a higher level. Have any of you been in what they would call a moment of grace, a moment of bliss, a moment of you were connected to a higher power, a moment of connected to what you might call God or universe, a moment of feeling at such a level you've never felt before? Like you're connected between a butterfly and an angel all in one moment. They call it like grace. That's the superconscious programming. Super conscious. It's your ability to understand and connect to a higher level of energy, a higher level of power. Now, what makes that difficult to have what they would call freedom of mind, freedom of connection, this ability to live in a state of grace? Well, you could probably imagine with forced programming and not a lot of, see, you came here tonight by conscious choice. You didn't come here because, I don't think so, because every single thing in your life is so incredible, so amazing. Now, you might have come here just because you're like, you know what? Mike teaches really cool stuff. I just want to watch him teach stuff and enhance my life. That's cool. Some of you said, you know what? I'm confused right now. I got young kids, old kids, house, bills, this COVID that like, I don't even know what's going on. I just hoping maybe Mike could help me figure out a thing. That's a conscious choice. And the goal is with enough conscious choice and enough awakenings of knowledge and information, you can start connecting to this superconscious, and start feeling, right? A lot of you say it's like, who has a voice inside their mind that serves them very well? It says, don't do that. Don't try that. Don't think like that. Who has that? Type in yes in the chat bar. Some of you do. Yeah, you're like, I got it. All right, be upfront with me. Type in ignore. Who ignores it sometimes? Do you? And then what happens? Antonio's like, I never ignore it. All right, some of you said, yeah. I'm like, you keep telling me no, I'm going to do it. And you do it, and you're like, My wife has that gift. She's like, you shouldn't do it. Shouldn't hire that person. I'm like, I did the interview. I did the blah. Then all of a sudden, like 6 months later, I'm like, yes, shouldn't have did it. They were good. Now they're not good. She's like, no, they really were never good. You just convinced yourself they were good. And I probably did, right? I probably did. Okay. Now that we have all that out of the way, now we could actually start to get real and we can start to rank some things. Now, you don't have to draw this out because but you can take a quick picture of it if you want. But on the next page, we're going to start to score these. I just wanted to show you how it plays together, right? And the way it plays together is this level is really, really good. That's like running exactly how we expected. And this level number 1 is really not great. We are not feeling good, and everywhere in between. And when we go to rate it, which we're going to go here next and rate it, you could imagine if this was a wheel, and somebody type in for me, wealth and finance, 10, financial security, 1, broke off your ass, don't even know you're like not feeling wealthy. Put in some numbers, and there's no judgment here. We're not impressed if you're a 10 or okay, 4, 7, 8, 5, okay, 1. Okay, thanks for your honesty, right? You're in all different realms. Well, if we look at the scoring when we're done at all these different realms, we just want to ask ourselves after we do this, like, how will this wheel go? Now, I've done a lot of Wheel of Life, a lot of them throughout my years, for many, many years. And I feel we created one that is very, very helpful. And I'll tell you why, because I think there's more than just wealth. I think people think, and Aaron, thank you so much. Everybody say thank you, Aaron, in the chat bar. He's typing everything for you guys, Aaron. I think you tell me there's a difference between wealth and finance, right? Wealth is financial security, and finance is dealing with paying bills and paying for things. There's a big difference here. There's a difference between career and work. There's a difference between health and fitness. So I want you to know that there's 2 ways to do the wheel. You could global bucket it. You could say growth and learning are one and the same, or you could turn around and do this, okay? You could say, I'm going to split this rate in half, and I'm going to say, well, my growth is a 6, but my learning is a 2, okay? So you could do this a lot of different ways to dial in on this a little more. That's what I always thought was missing about other people's Wheel of Life. It was such a big bucket. I felt like it was not true enough. It wasn't clear enough for me. If that makes sense, can you type in make sense? Do you agree? Like, it was just like there's love, but then there's partner. There's a difference between loving kids and loving a partner. There really is. I don't think that's the same love. I mean, my kids, when they were little, I slept with them to go to bed, but I don't sleep with my kids. I sleep with my wife, right? So very different between partner and love. Okay. Now it's time to start to work on, let's start putting this assessment together. Okay. Let's put it together. And the way we put this together, and if this flow, is this flow making sense for you, how we break it down? If you love it, type in love it in the chat bar. Do you see how it breaks it down? Because if I just went here, Kim, where we're at now, you would get value without understanding. And that's one of my pet peeves is I would go to trainings and classes from people, and I would get value with no understanding under the hood. All I got to see was the outside of the car. But really what makes it impactful and work is understanding how the engine functions, right? The superconscious, the unconscious, subconscious force program, right? That's the engine that makes it work. Otherwise, it's very surface level, okay? So if we look at this, the way this is going to break out is like this. First, you'll rank it. So if we say wealth and finance, I want you to take an average of this because we can only go so deep tonight, and maybe you're an 8. And then you're going to go, who I was, okay, who I was in the past was maybe poverty. Who I am today is a reflection between these two, right? Who I was, who I am today, and maybe I'm, slightly abundant. Slightly abundant. You know what that means? Slightly abundant is I don't have a lot of debt and I make a little bit of money. Slightly abundant. Okay. Then the next question, and feel free to work through this on the chat bar or write this on a piece of paper. And we'll give you this worksheet later. You could go back, watch the training, go deeper. I would tell you if your partner relationship's not here, go through this training, print these out, do it together, do it with your kids. Okay. So I know who I was, who I am today, who do I need to be? I was just sharing with someone today. Oh, they might be on here. No, it doesn't matter who it was. I said, here's the thing. When you're a business, when you start a business, you're first called like an operator. You're like the, right, Dave Monk? It's like, you're the guy who does the stuff, right? You program, you're the thing. And then your next thing you want to become is you want to become an owner. You want to start behaving like an owner, like you want to hire good, manage people, you want to make the system. And then the next thing you want to become is what? See, everybody act like you got to work on your business, not in your business. They made that sound like that was the finish line. No, no, no. Being a wealth creator or a wealth investor, that's the leap you're trying to go to. That's the leap. So if that was this here in wealth, who do I need to be? I need to be a wealth investor. A wealth investor. That's who I need to be. All of you that have a career, you're a wealth investor because your career is moving you to wealth. If you own a business, you want to become a wealth investor because that business is part of your future wealth. And then this last part is where we got to go deep inside. This is where the super conscious for you, the super conscious can start to settle in and help you. You ask yourself, what's the shift that needs to happen now to make me this wealth investor? What's the shift? Maybe it's I have to believe, right? Or I have to grow. The shift that needs to happen is I got to learn, right? I have to learn how to do this. What is that has to happen? So let's work through these together. I'll walk through, I'll give you some examples, but I want you to write it down. So even if you just like draw a straight line and do it, let's just do some work together. And then maybe if time allows, I'll open it up for like, if you have a question or you're stuck, like just put in question mark and I'll let you unmute. So that's wealth and finance, right? Money, let's just call it money, right? The next one is career and work. Where do you rank yourself on career and work right now? Like 10, I love it, I live it, I breathe it. When I'm not there, I'm still doing it. And 1, I can't stand what I'm doing. I don't like doing it. I wish I could get out of it. Where? Rank yourself for it. Be transparent with all of us here. Where are you at? Dwayne, 10. I knew you were, Dwayne, when I showed up this morning. Well, I didn't physically show up there. I virtually showed up there. All right, Kim, 8. Nancy, 7. Moan, 9. Antonio, 5. Okay. All right. Well, now you have a baseline. You have a baseline here for your career and work. So we'll say there's a 6. Well, who was I? I was somebody trying to learn a trade. I was confused. I had to pick something, right? Who am I today? I like it. I don't love it. It's stressful. I'm making these up. Well, who do I need to be? Well, I need to be superhuman, right? I mean, I need to change my insight. I need to change my habits. I need to change my patterns. I need to change the way I think about my career. I need to change the way I show up. People say, oh, I work with people, they're not good. I said, how do you show up? I'm pretty sure in a shitty culture, you're not showing up amazing. Do you know how you change a crappy culture? You show up amazing. I could always tell you that the culture is an average of the owner's behaviors. I know I always have a lot of business owners here. It's the same thing for any of it. Like, it's the average of your own behavior and how you show up. I know that stings a little bit sometimes, but what needs to happen? One of you type in the chat bar, what needs to happen today for you to move your career, your work, what you do to a level that I always tell you, here's how you know that you're a level 10. First off, you don't need an alarm clock because your body wakes you up because it's so excited. The minute you awake, feet are on the ground, arms are in the air. Like you're one of those, those people that do the gymnastic where they're like, boom. Like that's like the morning, your eyes open up, you're like, I'm up. That's it. Let's go. That's how you know you're level 10 and you love what you're doing. How do you know you're a 5? The one eye opens up, you're like, I can't believe I got to get up now. Well, now it's like pick up the cell phone and try finding the button or whatever you do. That's a 5. How do you know you dislike it all the way and you're a 1? You don't even set the alarm clock. You're like, I don't even know if I want to wake up tomorrow, right? But the goal is, if you're living a 6, any one of these, okay, is going to create the average of all of these. Let me make a little picture for you. And don't worry, this finger is really messed up. So don't think I'm trying to do that intentionally. It's just got it's got issues. It's got to get cut and stuff. It's got issues. But imagine, which might work for this exercise, this thing good. Imagine this is like, my grandmother used to make one of those, what do they call it? Like the knitting the blanket or whatever, like quilting. Okay. So you have a quilt. And when you have a quilt, and Alex, you pull down on one thread of the quilt, what happens with all of them? Type in the chat bar. What happens with all the quilt? Starts to all pull down, doesn't it? The rest start to pull. When you pull up on the quilt, what happens? They all start to pull up too. They start to pull up. So if you look at pulling down on a bunch of quilts that are a 5 and you have some that are a 10, you're going to pull it to a point that it's an average until eventually some pull it down. And then you got to try to recover on it. So what is the shift? And one of you tell me, implement consistent systems, change the habits, right? Change my habits. How do you change habits? You change the habits until they become patterns, right? Enough habits become patterns. Patterns will create a new reality. All right, let's go to health and fitness. You tell me, some of you, where are you at on your health and fitness? 10, feel good, look good, energy, not fatigued, 8.5 or 8. Okay, 8. 2, as I eat dinner at 9 p.m. Okay, thanks for your honesty. -1, 7. Okay, so this here, we'll go with a 4 for someone. Who I was years ago. If you look back and just answer and let your inner voice go, who I was. Well, McDonald's, fast food, never planned, right? I mean, this is like what my life was many, many years ago. There's no planning. Man, me and my wife eating a whole lot of Hot Pockets in our day years ago. Which were pretty good. Elio's Pizza. Anybody do that? Type in, yeah. Did you ever eat some? I'm thinking of it right now. Until we moved to the French bread pizzas. They were dynamic. Until we moved to the Hamburger Helper and tried that. But that's who I was. Well, who I am now. Well, who you are now is maybe conscious. But you might be conscious doing a lot of the wrong things. Maybe you're conscious thinking, I have to eat this way, do this thing, keto that, Weight Watchers this, vitamin that. Well, who do I need to be today? Maybe educated. Maybe educated. Maybe you need to understand energy. Every single one of these, the mind will create your outcome. Your rating is created by your mind. It's not a food problem. It's a mind problem. Most things are. It's not a relationship problem. It's a mind problem of how you think about relationships. And you guys tell me, somebody type in what's the shift that you have to do today? What's the shift? I'll tell you what, today, most people, and you've probably heard it, me telling it, you know what? If you want to shift any area of your life, you are going to have to shift not only how you think about that level, you're going to have to shift all different decisions, but not by force, by making a new conscious decision, Like, I'm going to start to be this way. I'm going to start to act this way. I'm going to start to. Now, look, experts know certain things, right? We've learned a whole lot, me and my wife, about what to do, what not to do. Tons of stuff. All right, let's go to fun and recreation. You know what fun and recreation is, don't you? It's like, do the things you want. It's the parties, it's the picnics, it's probably the traveling. How do you rate your fun and recreation? Sometimes I see people, they're at a 10, and I look at everything else. Their wealth is down, their relationships down. I'm like, you're having a lot of fun, but at the consequence of maybe destroying everything else. 7.5 is everything's a 0.5. 0.5. Okay, 7, 5, 6. All right, 7. Well, same thing. Who are you right here? Who you were, who you are, who you need to be in the shift. For you to have more fun today, who do you need to be? What's the shift that needs to happen? Type in one shift for you to have more fun. What is it? Beach more often. Well, that's where we live. That's where me and my wife live. Read a fiction book. What else? Switch off from business. Yeah, like, gotta have a little fun. Get up earlier and free up time later in the day. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. We're making great progress here. So place and sacred place. Okay. So place and sacred place, I want you to think about like this is your home. Sacred place is a place that you go where you feel serenity, you feel alive. Some people, their house is their place, and their sacred place might be a meditation area or a place in the woods or the lake or the river. So let's just do a summary. If you look at the place as home, well, how do you rank that environment there? 1 to 7. You go in your house, it feels good, it feels clean. My wife and I are constantly on a quest for minimalism. Anybody else like just simple, clean, easy, no chaos, right? And then who were you? Well, you know, like, how was this environment? You know, do you have motivate? Like, I'm looking at Bruce Lee. I got Bruce Lee over there. I got Buddha over there. I got pictures of me and my wife over there. I got samurai swords. Like, I got other things here. I got the lion that came to hang out with you guys, right? Live in a suitcase for 4 years. Okay, that's pretty minimalist, right? If there's a place inside your place, your home, your sacred place that you know, I need to make a shift today, what's the shift you have to make? Tell me. What's the shift you have to make? Do you have to be a minimalist? Do you have to get rid of some stuff? Do you have to add some things? Do you have to decorate it? Do you have to put motivational quotes to your house? Clutter, okay, got to remove it, right? You got to do that system that my wife loves, and I think it's human pain, right? This condo method, where one day we got 9 billion socks all over the place, and it's like, it's human torture. Yeah, get rid of stuff. Yeah, if you want to do it, look up what my wife typed in there. It's brutal. It's the most painful process I ever seen in my life, but in the end, I feel good, but I think I lose years off my life going through it, right? I'd rather just move into a new house than even do the process, right? Carpet the office. Yeah, because the whole thing about sacred place is you act the way you, and you write this down, you will live at the way you feel in your environment. You'll act and live the way you feel. If you have an area that doesn't feel good, you will be dragged down by energy. How do I know? Anytime you finished a room, finished a basement, redid a bathroom, how did it feel? Type in the chat bar. What's the last area in your home you redid and how did it feel? I bet for a bathroom, for months, you walked in there just to see how the bathroom looks, because the energy felt so good, because it was so clean and so you and so, right? The garage, right? How's it feel? Organized. You go out there and you're like, you can't wait to go to the garage. You hate being in the kitchen because there's dishes and chaos, but the garage has the shelving system, right? Okay. The next one we work on, and we're making good progress here, everybody. Community and contribution. So how do you feel your ability to contribute? For me, I'm a 10, like I'm right here. This is contribution for me tonight. I'm giving back. I'm sharing with you. And like, if I look at who I was, well, I was somebody that was about myself. Like I had to just figure out myself. I had to get my stuff done. I had to worry about me. And who am I? Well, I'm someone who serves. And if you've been in my world, and only say it if it's true, do you feel like I serve? I feel like I serve all the time from a pure heart. Who do I need to be? Same person I am right now, just serve more. That's it. If there's anything I need to be, serve more with more power. That's it. Okay. The shift that needs to happen. What needs to happen to you for contribution? It's hard to serve others and contribute if you can't serve yourself, right? That's why the airplane, you know the thing, you better put your oxygen mask on first, because if you black out, you can't help nobody. But if you get that mask on and you could breathe, now I could start making critical decisions. I could help my family, help my friends, right? Most people are not doing, and you got to have a sense of contribution where you're whole before you could help other people be whole. It's one of the things I tell business owners when I start working with them. I'm like, how much do you help other people? Oh, I help this one and this one and this one. I say, I love it. Could you just pull back a little bit, help yourself, so then you could help so many more? Would you be willing to do that? Most of them say yes. Some of them don't listen. They keep serving and everyone else around them grows. And then the relationship flips and someday they got to try to help that other person. Does that make sense? Type in makes sense if that makes sense. Does it? All right. Family and friends. Family and friends. Tell me where you're at in family and friends. Now, you probably would separate this out, but do a summary of it. Where you at? If you're an 8, you might go, who was I? Not close. You know, who are you today? You think about them. You know, who do you need to be? Maybe make time, right? I need to be someone who makes time. And then what's the shift that needs to happen? I need maybe healthy boundaries around the relationship, or I need to redefine, right? The shift is I need to redefine how I think about this. Every single, just so you know, every single one of these here in this column, okay? Well, let's not use blue, we'll use green here. Every one of these in the right column, this shift, this is the new identity that you must step into, move into. Now, if we had a lot more time, we would go through a whole mind exercise on every one of these and pull out anchors, replace things, have you step in on it, and boom, the shift would happen. So you got to go do some work on your own after this, right? You got to do some work. All right, what about partner in love? Give me what that is. Partner in love. Where are you at? And if they're on here, well, tread lightly, I guess. If it's a problem and you're not there, and if you are a 10, I would tell you to ask your partner, hey, if you were to rate our relationship from 1 to 10, 10 being blissful, amazing, passionate, can't get enough of each other, and 1, we hate each other, where would you be? You write a number, I'll write a number on a piece of paper. You flip it over. You're a 10, they write 7. You go, oh shit, I'm living in a state of delusion, right? The only way to know you're not in delusion is to survey each other and then flip it over and look at it. And then say, truthfully, where are we? Now, if you know that, see, all these things are not to make you feel bad. It's to give you a score and say, who do I need to be? Oh, well, that person never does this, that person. Okay, how about you do it first? Why don't you step in first? Why don't you step forward first? Why don't you lead by example? Like, why keep waiting for someone else to do something when you should do it on your own, right? What about growth and learning? How are you here? Growth and learning is attending things like this, right? Investing in your future, investing in education, investing in, I've been saying this, and I'm such a believer now, after doing huge deals in the last 4 years, becoming at another level that is like, I knew I'd get to, but like had to figure out how I got there. I knew this for sure. Anything that you want to grow, you want to grow a business by 10x, you better grow yourself by 20x, period. You want to grow your business by 20x, you better grow by 40x personally. The way you think, the way you act, the way you grow, the way you learn, the way you, I'm still watching people reading books. I see it on Facebook, like, hey, what's the best book you ever read? And people go here, and then people go, oh, I just bought that book. I'm like, you just bought it? Why? Oh, someone recommended it. Do you have a problem there? Well, no, it looks like a good book. I said, do you want to know the difference between the wealthiest in the world and the not? The wealthiest in the world only read what's going to fix the next thing. The non-wealthy in the world read everything that everyone else is reading. That's the difference between the wealthiest in the world and non-wealthy. The wealthy only read to solve a problem. The non-wealthy read because someone else suggests it. Now, I'm not saying there's no casual reading. Like if that's your casual time, yeah, 100%, just do that, you know? And then the last one here is your presence and your spirituality, your higher belief. I always call it like higher belief is, it's very interesting to me, and hope this might be the moment where some of you love me more and some of you are like, F off, I'm out of here. I find it so interesting, selective religion. Do you know what selective religion is? I believe so much in one thing, and then all of a sudden I don't believe. Like I am such a believer in God, but then I panic over what's happening today. Like, I think that's like selective religion. This is a good gut check. If you say, I'm a 10 in my belief, just gut check, how have you been behaving the last 20 months? If you fear something will happen to you and you fear death, but you believe in God and heaven, seems conflictual to me. Like heaven is paradise and you're afraid to go there. Like what's going on here? It's my own crazy belief. So just maybe ignore it if you don't like it. So where are you? Rate yourself, your belief, your connection, your ability to feel protected, ability to feel connected, your ability to feel safe, your ability to live your life because you have a belief. And this has been a very, I think, I don't want to say controversial, a very misunderstood. I just told people you either believe or you don't, and you either should move to believe more or move not to believe. But let's not sit in a state of chaos and confusion, acting like we're one way, but we're really not, right? So, and you could raise that. And the way to connect into that, right? The way got to do bedtime is amazing. Okay, yeah, we'll get you a replay on it, Ashley. So the shift that needs to happen for you to have that ultimate connect, the ultimate connect. All right. I want to go into a little diagram that's going to help you guys out. Can you tell me what has been like real impactful so far? We only got a little bit more to do tonight. You're doing amazing. What's been really impactful? Like clicked for you, feels good, maybe thought-provoking, maybe like, you know what? I've been suffering there because I haven't been thinking about it. I've been struggling here because I haven't put no attention to it, right? Type in the chat bar for me. I need to improve in every single area of the wheel of life. Yeah. So guess what? just pick the lowest one and just do one tiny thing. Don't let this become an overwhelming thing. Incremental improvements over time create greatness. I promise you. A lot of people that suffer from anxiety, it's the ability to want an outcome so much it bubbles over, or to want so many things they can't process how to make a decision. Like, it's okay. Take a deep breath. All of us have an area to work on. Pick the area, work on it. Consume yourself in it. Improve. Make an identity decision. I watch people that are sometimes 300-400 pounds go, that's it, I'm done. Boom. Year, 2 years later, lose 150 pounds, never grow it back. You can do every diet, you could do every test, you could do everything you want. If your identity, you see people, they do it. They get the thing in their stomach, right? The band. 3 years later, they're back. What happened? A procedure without an identity change. That's why good doctors that do it say, you got to go through mind conditioning first, because otherwise it won't work. Most of you that have been up and down your whole life on either weight, energy, minus technical, medical, physical things, it is an identity thing. It has been a choice that you decided to change and then change back. And I'd like to say it's simple. It's not, because every word, like just the fact is, who's ever lost some weight? Type it in. Who's ever lost some weight? Go me. Okay. Who's ever gained it back with a vengeance? Say me. I mean, you try not to see that you gained it back. So you wear a bigger shirt. You try not to see it. You try to just act like it's not there. Well, the fact that you even lost something, your brain wants to find what you lost with a vengeance. Your brain won't let you down. You're like telling everybody, I lost 30 pounds. Oh, you look good. Oh, I lost 30 pounds. Your brain's like, wait a minute. You lost. I'm going to help you find that really quickly. And then all of a sudden you wake up one morning, you're like, are you effing kidding me? Look at you. Look what happened. Now, look, I'm not a big believer that weight matters. I only believe health matters. And if you're at a certain health and that your health is good and dialed in, well, so be it. I'm just giving you an example. Let's talk through this. How do we change the channel in all these areas? Step one, okay? Step one. You have to evaluate exactly where you're at. Evaluate with truth. With truth. A lot of people are not honest with themselves. Do an evaluation. That's what human engineering was. I have to evaluate it. All right. Step two. We have to be willing to make a shift. Okay. And we have to be willing to change. And we want to change by removing, we want to remove past guilt. You hear people, and past trauma. I hear people say this. Oh yeah, I lost a bunch of weight. I was a big fat ass. I'm like, I don't know. It sounds like a little bit of guilt and a little bit of trauma in there and a little bit of programming. We want to be able to make a shift and not carry. How many of you have changed your life but carried guilt? Think about this. Had a relationship, didn't work out. I broke up with them. Life moved on. I lived with guilt. Oh man, I did that. Yeah, but doesn't have to be that way. It's by choice. Okay. Now, step three, we have to build an identity. We have to build it. Now we're scratching the surface on this. You know, you got to make a shift, but identity is so much more, everyone. I'm just giving you like, so you could get started. Identity is like the who, the what, the where, the why, the when, the language, the behaviors, the habits, you got to remove past trauma. You got to remove past guilt. You got to step in a new one. Like it's a process to go through, but you have to build an identity. Once you build it, step 4, You have to live in it. You have to live in it. Okay. A lot of you have heard this before. Like when I first started serving the industry and helping companies, I was out there in long sleeve shirt, button down, and I was trying to be somebody I'm not. I don't wear slacks. I don't wear long button down shirts. I don't wear a tie. I don't wear a jacket. I don't do those things. It's not me. But I was trying to be that. So my wife said, just don't do it no more. I shifted my identity and I said, I'm not going to do that. You want me to go? Like I tell people, if you're going to hire me and they spend $25,000 an hour to hire me to go speak, I say, here's the deal. I show up in probably black boots, jeans, and a t-shirt. If that's acceptable for you, I will be glad to speak. If you tell me, any one of you could challenge me, guys, speaking gig for you, need you for an hour, you got to wear a suit, a tie, and a jacket. I will say, thank you for thinking of me. I know a lot of other people that will wear that. I just don't do that. That's not me. And I would be a complete liar to the world. It would be an act. So I just don't do it. Okay. Step number, that's 4. Step number 5. Step number 5 is this. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent in your new identity. If you act your identity, it's not an identity, it's an act. Like if you think tomorrow you're going to step up, put the Superman cape on, wear it for a little bit, and then take it off, you're not Superman. You're an act. See, if you're Superman, you don't take the cape off because you're Superman. You live in that full-time identity. You don't want to have multiple identities. That creates a bipolar situation. It creates a multiple personality situation when you try to, oh, today I'm this, I'm a superhero, tomorrow I'm this. Today I'm this, tomorrow I'll be that. Today I'll be Einstein, tomorrow I'll be a vicious human, right? You have to define your identity and choose to live that identity. So people go, that's him. Like if you see me, anybody that knows me, Michelle, I'm looking at her on the screen. Well, I wanted to get her just while she was putting food in her mouth. But Michelle probably knows that if she sees me on Saturday afternoon or in my headquarters or on here, I bet there's no difference. There's no difference. I show up the same way every time. You can't show up the same way every time with an act. You can't. And then step number 6 here is your new identity serves you until it doesn't. Until it doesn't. It serves you in moving forward, in growing. And guess what? The minute your identity, because if you, let's just use growing a business. If you want to grow a business to 5 million, you create a $5 million identity, and then you could grow to 5 million or 10 or 20 or 30 or whatever. When you're heading towards 5 million and your identity is pulling you forward, you better shift that identity to 10 million fast, or you'll get to 5 million and you'll be stuck. Watch the transition. I'm going to break it down with my hands real quick. You're young, you get to 18. You go to college or schooling, you get a career. In the next 15 or 20 years, you live the career. That becomes your identity. You get to level 40 or 50, and you don't know how to go forward. And most people are either stuck in that bracket and never change. This is probably a lot of your parents or grandparents. The ones like a lot of you that are going to exceed and go further, you're changing your identity for that next generation of your life. Does that make sense? Type in the chat bar. Tell me. Do you resonate with that? Yeah, otherwise you're stuck in generational identity. You're stuck in that bracket of, 25 or 28 years old to 50. And then you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Well, you do this. You do this right here. You shift your identity. Okay. Do you understand the 6 steps here on how to flip and change that channel? Is it logical laid out? Type in the chat bar logical. Is it logical? If it is, here's what I want to do right now. So I hope it's okay. We have something coming up, a training, and I just want to be transparent with everybody. I'm not here to sell you anything. If it's a fit for you, awesome. If it's not a fit for you, perfectly fine. Okay. This is not one of those things. And some of you are newer in my world where someone tries to guilt you into something. Please don't do that. If there's value in what I'm going to talk about, you come. If there's no value, don't come. Okay. We have a training that's coming up. It's called Change the Channel. This is important. Make your identity your next mission, right? Make your identity your next mission. I love these quotes. You could take a picture of this if you want. Identity cannot be found or fabricated, but emerges from within when one has the courage to let go. That is so good. The next one here, life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. It's from George. Most people say they want to someday grow a business bigger. They want to be a millionaire. Or maybe someday you want to hit levels that my wife and I have hit beyond, like decamillionaire. Or maybe you want to go to the next level above that. And everybody says they want that, but nobody really wants to put in where it really has to happen. That's what I've, not nobody, very, very few in my life I've seen. And then there's this quote, never mind searching for who you are, search for the person you aspire to be. Search for the person you aspire to be. I love that. And then the last part right here, and we'll finish this up. It's time to change the channel to create the life you always wanted. I want to just end with this. Type in the chat bar what has been most helpful from this training. I see so many of my friends on here and new friends and people in world and business owners and all kinds of experts. And yeah, this will be an amazing training. I hope this training was incredible for you, the Superhuman, to get you dialed in, get you understanding the different levels and help launch you, already start to get momentum going for you, right? And for some of you that maybe that training doesn't make sense, go back and just look at my journey. Go back in Facebook, look at what my wife and I have been able to create. Someone asked us today, Aaron was on the call. He said, well, I'll give you the way I heard the question is like, well, if you were to write down your journey to what like your life that you always wanted to create look like, what would it look like? And I was like sitting there a minute. My wife was sitting there and he said, Jen, what about you? And she said, well, the life we have right now, like it's the best life ever. That's what we created together. And you have to have a certain identity to do that, All right. Well, it is for some of you late, some of you early, but all of you have magic to go. Make sure you have the link. We'll post some reminders about it. I hope you'll join me for 2 days of the most powerful 2 days of training in your life. Otherwise, I will wish you a super amazing, incredible rest of your day or beautiful sleep. Good night. Boom.